What's going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside Hartford, Connecticut for a new type of video today. Today we're going to do our first player bio, and it's going to be a little different than the rest of them. But today is July 1st, 2020, so it is officially Bobby Bonilla Day. So, of course, we want to do a video just to discuss Bobby Bonilla. So, basically, Bonilla was a player. He was born in the Bronx, New York in February of 1963. And he was a solid player in baseball. You know, he played well in high school. He ends up going undrafted, but he ends up signing a minor league deal with the Pirates. And in the 1985-86 offseason, he ends up getting picked in the Rule 5 draft by the Chicago White Sox, who end up promoting him to the big leagues. As Rule 5 draft, you kind of have to. But he ends up not doing well there, so they end up getting rid of him. They send him back to the Pirates. And he ends up making his debut, like his long-awaited time frame in Pittsburgh. And he would spend 6 seasons in Pittsburgh. And he did solid there. He ended up becoming the starting third baseman by his second season, which would have been the 87 season. And he was not good with his glove. So he committed something like 67 errors through the 87 and 88 seasons. So he ends up getting moved to the outfield, specifically right field. And that put him in a strong outfield combination alongside Barry Bonds, who, remember, at this point was with the Pirates, and Andy Van Slyke. So this helped the Pirates succeed in the early 90s. But, you know, he wasn't dominating, but he was still pretty good. He had a .284 average during his time in Pittsburgh. And in the 1990 season, he actually led the league in extra base hits and doubles in particular in the 91 season. So he made the All-Star team 4 years in a row at this point, and then after the 91 season, he becomes a free agent. So the New York Mets offer him a 5-year, $29 million deal prior to the 92 season, which he takes, and that, at that point in time, made him the highest paid player in the league. So everyone was kind of impressed about this. But this is not where our story begins, don't you worry. So his offense production, you know, it starts to fall apart a little bit, but he's still a pretty good player. Like, he's still a pretty solid player. He does good in the first 3.5 years of that contract, and he makes another couple All-Star games. But, you know, he really had problems with the media. But, you know, he kind of went out to the media. He would challenge them. He would say, hey, you know, you guys are going to try to tear me down, but I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to take it. So that upset the media. And there was another time when he literally complained to the press box about being charged with an error. He wanted to say, it wasn't an error. This is garbage. So, of course, that makes a lot of people upset. You know, if you fight with the media doesn't like you. They portray you negatively, especially in New York. So around the trade deadline in the 95 season, he gets shipped to the Baltimore Orioles, and he helps the Orioles play well in the 96 season in particular. They make the ALCS that year. They don't win it, but after that, you know, he ends up leaving the team. He goes to the Marlins, and that reunited him with his former manager from Pittsburgh, Jim Leyland, who, you know, hung around the league for a while. And he and the Marlins would win the 97 World Series, and he plays well, but in the middle of the 98 season, he gets shipped to the Dodgers in a pretty big trade. It was the Mike Piazza, Gary Sheffield trade, for those of you wondering, and he doesn't do that well in Los Angeles, but then we get to November of 98 when he gets reacquired by the New York Mets. And he doesn't do as well as people hoped he would, but he still does pretty well. He just really had problems with Bobby Valentine as the manager. So there was an incident during the 1999 NLCS, and allegedly, Bonilla sat in the clubhouse with a teammate, Ricky Henderson, and they were apparently playing cards. It was Game 6 of the NLCS, and they lost that game. And that just kind of showed attitude problems and everything like that. So after the 1999 season, the Mets would release him. And this is where the story begins. So they still owed him $5.9 million. But you know, Bonilla and his super smart agent, you know, his agent who had a good idea, made a deal, offered the Mets a deal, and they basically said, hey, listen, we'll defer payment for a decade, so we won't get paid for a decade, but you guys will have to pay us an annual paycheck of $1.19 million starting in the year 2011 and ending in the year 2035. So, in other words, $29.8 million, but you won't have to pay the $5.9 million right now. So, you know, the Mets owner at the time, he was heavily invested in a Ponzi scheme with Bernie Madoff, who, you know, I'm not going to get into that, but, you know, basically you invest money and you're going to quadruple your money. You're going to get 10 times your money back. You give me $100, I'll give you $1,000 back within a couple years. And, you know, Madoff's in jail at this point, but so basically it's believed that that's why he took it. That's why he took the deal. And, you know, his thought process was, hey, you know what? I'm going to make more money from this Ponzi scheme than the interest is going to be worth, so it's okay. You know, the money I'll invest, the $5.9 million I'll invest in the scheme will get me more money. You know, in the long run, I'll make more money. So, basically, you know, obviously the Ponzi scheme didn't work out, but it's not Bonilla's fault, and he still gets paid. So after that, he would end up playing with the Braves in the 2000 season. He doesn't do that well, but, you know, he's still there. 2001, he plays for the Cardinals, and he played his final game on October 7th of 2001. Really fell off the cliff, but after the 01 season, he would retire, and he cited injuries and reduced playing time for the main reason he retired. So he finished his career with a 1 championship in '97 with the Marlins, 6 All-Star appearances, 2,010 hits, 287 homers, a career batting average of 279, as well as 1,173 RBIs. So what is Bobby Bonilla Day? Bobby Bonilla Day is July 1st of every year from 2011 to 2035 when he gets paid his $1.19 million. And what's interesting about that is Bonilla's actually going to be among like the league average or above average for salaries this season. You know, when I was looking it up, I saw that Hunter Pence is actually making less money this year than Bobby Bonilla is due to, you know, the coronavirus case. Hunter Pence, you know, was an all-star last season, and he's going to make $1.1 million this year, while Bonilla is making his $1.19 million. Just interesting, you know. Bobby Bonilla has not played baseball professionally since the 2001 season, and he has not played for the Mets since the 1999 season, but they're paying him a good chunk of money. But, you know, it's just an interesting thing. There's a lot of other cases of prorated salaries, or of, sorry, deferred salaries. You know, the Mets were the ones that really did it a few times, but, you know, Manny Ramirez from the Red Sox is another one that did it. Max Scherzer did it as well when he signed his extension with the Nationals. Brett Saberhagen, from the Mets again did it. So, you know, it was just interesting to do the research for this. And yeah, that's Bobby Bonilla Day. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a great rest of your day. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day and happy July.